52 shining new weeks ahead of us. What will you do with them?
Happy New Year!
It's time for the Becoming a Profitable CEO podcast, and it's all about providing you with the tools to succeed on this ever-evolving business-building journey. My mission is to make sure you know you are not alone, that it is possible, and that you, yes, you, can do this. You matter. The world is a better place for having you in it, and your voice is needed. I'm Teresa Cleveland, and I believe that we can all make a difference, and that having a successful online business is one of the best ways to do that. Let's get to it. Hey, it's finally here. I'm so happy to be kicking off 2021 with you. I'm grateful that you're here and tuning in, and I cannot wait to meet more of our listeners. Feedback has been wonderful. I'm hearing how much people are enjoying the interviews with our guests, which I am thrilled about. We've had some remarkable women join us already. Other feedback is that our listeners would like to hear more from me directly with strategies and other business building info. That was exciting because I've been kind of feeling the need to share that type of content here also. Anyone who's known me for any period of time knows that I'm all about the practical application and implementation of ideas and best practices. So, based on that, here's what you can expect from me here on the Becoming a Profitable CEO podcast in 2021. Number one, our guest episodes are not going away. We're simply moving them to Thursdays. We've got a fabulous lineup and are already scheduling and recording into March, and I'm delighted to begin rolling those out to you this Thursday, January 7th. On Mondays, I'll be here with you to check in, count down the weeks of the year. Yep, we're going to count them down. Right now, we have 52, as you heard at the beginning of the show. We need to keep our eye on the prize, right? I'll also be providing you with insights, challenges, and action steps to grow your business to 6 figures or more this year. So you might be wondering, why 6 figures? What if you don't want or need to make 6 figures? First of all, let me say, I believe we all get to choose how much we want to make in our business. And if 6 figures isn't your thing, that's okay. The tips and strategies that I'll be sharing with you will definitely help you grow your business as well. The decision to focus on 6 figures this year is because it's a common goal. I've heard it from many people in different ways. I have seen it online. I've had discussions online. Sometimes when people set up appointments or consults with me, even with my peers in the online space, they're hearing it a lot too. That's where a lot of people want to be, and they want to know what it takes to get there. In my opinion, it's not an unattainable pie in the sky dream or that only a chosen elite few can get there. However, I don't always see what I feel is the best advice being given. All right, here's a little real talk. Not everyone is going to get there at the same time. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. And frankly, there's going to be some people who don't get there. And there's a multitude of contributing factors as to why. We're all still individual people with individual lives and challenges and everything that goes with being a human. On the business side of things, it depends on the type of product or service you're selling, how engaged with you your audience is, and vice versa, your reach or influence, your understanding of business overall, and a myriad of other things. What I also know is that if you have a viable product or service and you're in this to grow a long-term sustainable online business, and you're willing to stay the course and put in the work, $100,000 is definitely doable. The thing is, nobody can guarantee that it will happen this year or predict the exact date that it will happen. And to be clear, when I say work, I don't mean just checking off tasks. I'm also talking about learning new skills, building new relationships, being uncomfortable at times, and that's where the personal development comes in. And it will definitely stretch you. Oh, I know it has me. You're probably sitting there thinking, geez, Teresa, could you make it sound any more bleak? I'm sorry, that's really not what I want to do. I simply promise to always be real with you. What I can say is that the path to becoming a profitable 6-figure CEO is a wild ride at times and worth every minute. It's rewarding on so many levels and can be more than you ever dreamed. I know it has been for me and many, many of the other incredible women that I talk with in the online space. And I'm honored to support you however I can along the way. All right, it's Monday, so let's jump over to what I have to share with you today. You know, there is something so promising about having this blank canvas of the whole entire year stretched out in front of us. It's beckoning for us to take that first step of putting our mark on it. Pick an income goal, declare it, write it down. Woohoo! We're more than happy to oblige. We set an income goal and possibly a few other goals for good measure. We're daring to dream, right? We pat ourselves on the back, as we should, for taking this step. The problem can be, though, that we get so pumped up about setting the goal that it stops right there. We step back into our regular day-to-day activities without really mapping out how we're going to make it happen. We've got course ideas and offers running around in our head that will help us meet the goal, but we can put it down on paper later. And sadly, for many business owners, myself included, especially in the early years, later never happens. The activities that are going to get us there never get fully documented and put into action. Life happens, business happens, shiny new objects appear, other more interesting opportunities arrive. You get the picture, right? The next thing you know, you look up and first quarter is gone. You tell yourself, you promise yourself even, you'll get to it after you stop juggling or putting out fires for the clients you currently have, or this happens or that happens, just fill in the blank. Second quarter flies by and now it seems pointless because there's no way you can catch up. With that big sigh, you just say, maybe next year. It does not have to be that way. Hold up. Before we go any further, let's back up a little bit. I've got a question for you. Why six figures? How did you choose the income goal that you set for 2021? What did you base it on? Did you tally up how much you need to live your life, how much it costs to run your business? I don't know, software, website hosting, other platforms, all the other things. And taxes. Lord knows we can't forget the tax man. Or did you look at your numbers from last year and decide that based on the growth you experienced, that six figures was the next logical step? Or maybe you took a course and up-leveled your skills, and the selling point of that course just happened to be that with that skill, you'd be able to make X amount of money. So you chose that as your goal. I'm not gonna lie, I did that one year, and that's okay. I learned so much that year. And look, you don't have to tell me how you chose it unless, of course, you want to. It's simply something I want you to think about. I mean, really get in there and think about it. Why did you choose that? Step into, I'm not talking about your big why and all of that. I'm talking about this one thing. Why did you pick this goal? Why is this your goal? And guess what? It's okay if you need to adjust that goal up or down. And I'm not saying that you should change it because it scares you, but because you actually stopped and considered all the things. And I'll just say on that, if you want to talk it through, reach out. I'm always happy to talk goals and anything else online business. I'm going to be honest, $100,000 sounds pretty darn good at face value. Unfortunately, we don't get to keep the face value, do we? Once we deduct all the things we need to deduct, it's way less. I'm not going to get into the weeds on that today, though. I don't know, maybe in a future episode. You know, I'm all about helping you set up the foundation you need to be successful. This online business owner gig takes work. We've got to show up. If you want this to be sustainable, if you want this to be your thing for many years to come, you've got to do the work. We all do. Quick sidebar. The process I'm going to share with you today, I typically do in October. It allows me to get everything in place so I'm able to show up in January ready to get shit done. So if you're doing this for the first time right now, give yourself some grace and understand that you're going to have some ramp up time as you roll yours out. And I will definitely be reminding listeners to get started on it for 2022 in October of this year. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and get to today's exercise. I'm going to pick up at the place where you've considered all of your details and you've set your goal. And spoiler alert, this works for any number, not just six figures. I'm going to use $100,000 to keep the math easy and not give myself a headache. There are several ways that you can break that $100,000 down. Some are scarier than others for people. So you can look at it as $8,333.33 a month, except for that 1 month where it's $8,333.34. Weekly, it's $1,923.08. Daily is $273.97 a day. Or if you look at a quarter, it's $25,000 a quarter. Which of those appeal to you? I know some of them can make people uncomfortable, especially depending on the product or service. They might think, I have to make $200 $373.97 a day. Holy cow, that feels like a lot of pressure. So they just don't go that route. You get to choose. Personally, I like to look at quarters because I know that generating income, especially in this case, $25,000 for a quarter, takes a lot of moving parts and pieces to make it happen. It really helps when planning for a quarter also. Obviously, there are a bunch of different ways to run your business and set goals. If this doesn't work for you at all, that's okay. Use the one that does. Once you've got your number and how you want to break it down, it's time to say, okay, how is this going to happen? What needs to happen to make this a reality? So the next step is that you're going to look at your offers and services based on your current pricing. We can talk about pricing. That's a whole other thing another day. But based on your current pricing, what's it going to take? And if this isn't your first year in business, be sure and look at last year's numbers for insights as well. And if you don't have those numbers to look back at, trust and believe, I'm going to help you get those in place this year. So here's an example. Like I said, I like to look at quarters. It's easier for me to create a plan around a quarter. For example, my Profitable CEO Blueprint is launching this month. And if that were my only offer this year and I launched it quarterly, I would need to enroll 17 people per quarter to hit that $100,000 goal. The course is $14.97, so it's going to take 7 people purchasing it per quarter to hit that goal. And when you start to break it down like this, you start to see like, oh, wow, that's kind of great because surely to God, there's 17 people out there in a quarter who can benefit from my blueprint. And then even if I look at the upcoming year and round that up to 20 over each quarter, so 20 times 4, that's 80 people. Surely in a year's time, 365 days, I can find 80 people who can benefit from the blueprint. So this is the part where it gets a lot less scary than just saying how much you need to bring in per quarter. When you connect the goal to the number of sales you need, and then of course that's the people you'll be serving, which is why you do what you do, right? It just makes it feel so good. I just want to say people have said before, they stop at that first step of breaking the numbers down because it scares the shit out of them. And then they back away because we don't like to feel uncomfortable, right? But remember what I said earlier, it's going to be uncomfortable sometimes, and we're going to face the discomfort and we're going to push past it because people are out there waiting for what you have. They need your product and service. How dare you not show up and provide it for them? Once you've figured out how many sales you need to generate to meet your goal for a specific period, the next step is to map out all of the activities and action steps to support that goal for that period. So yes, it takes planning, and yes, it takes more time than we have to get into today. That's why I put together a worksheet for you. You can find that in the show notes for this episode. As you start working on this, if you have any questions or you simply want feedback, jump over to our Facebook community. You can get there by going to thepurposefulceo.com/Facebook. It'll take you right over there. I pop in regularly and I'll be sure to respond. Okay, so to wrap up, if you haven't already started to map out your plan to reach 6 figures this year, now is the next best time to do that. First up, you want to decide which way feels like the best way for you to break down your goal. And here's a pro tip. The right way is whichever one you will actually take action on and implement. I appreciate you being out there and listening, and I want you to not just take in the information, I want you to put it to use. I want you to meet your goals. Next, you're going to figure out how many purchases it will take for you to meet that 6-figure goal based on your offers. After that, you're going to map out the action steps to support you in achieving it. And finally, you're going to come over to our Facebook community for feedback and to network with other female business owners. I'll go ahead and put the links to the worksheet and our Facebook community in the show notes. I also want to remind you that we have 52 glorious weeks to create the business we want, and I can't wait to see what you do with them. Be sure to tune in this Thursday for our first guest of 2021, Kathy Tajanow, who is going to share how the Colby impacted not only her own life and business, but also how she's doing it to support other business owners so they too can make an impact. And then I'll be back with you next Monday with more business building strategies. Until then, let's go make a difference. Thanks for tuning in to this week's business building episode of the Becoming a Profitable CEO podcast. I'll be back next Monday with more strategies, practical applications, and best practices. In the meantime, be sure to tune in on Thursdays when I interview other remarkable female business owners who share their insights gained on the path to becoming a profitable CEO. And you're always welcome to join us in our Facebook community to share your take on today's episode, get feedback, and network with other female online business owners. You can find us at thepurposefulceo.com/Facebook. It'll take you right to our community.